metropolis. Yes, such a metropolis.
The metropolis.
The metropolis. Hunter Yancey here along with Kevin Hastings. We're getting ready to talk to you guys about a lot of sports. Another championship has been crowned. It was crowned last night in sports as the World Series came to a close. There's been some news in NASCAR land. What do you don't know quite why you're so dark on the screen?
I know, we're sitting right beside each other.
I know, it hates you. But look at me. It's almost
like,
too bright on me and not bright enough on you.
If I cover this up, I look like a floating head. It is Halloween.
Yeah.
You know what today is, Hunter?
Wednesday?
No, it is not Wednesday.
It is Wednesday.
Well,
it's the 28th.
Technically, but not technically.
What are you trying to tell me?
Oh, goodness, Hunter. It's the day. There we go. Let's see.
I just don't
I
understand.
wonder which one I like this one. I like this one. Can the volume work on that? Get back 3 seconds until we get kicked off. All right,
Okay.
I turned it off.
All right.
It's my birthday.
Oh, it's your birthday?
Yes.
Well, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Absolutely.
You had the same reaction my son did.
Is it?
No, he didn't know.
Oh.
So about 10 o'clock this morning, taking him over to his nana's, I was like, hey, bub. I'd already told my daughter.
Yeah.
And, she'd gave me hugs and kisses. And he had been on class. We'd read ourselves. I wish I had this on videotape, Hunter.
Right.
He goes, really?
Really?
Really, really?
Really?
He goes, well, then, Dad, I guess I wish you a happy birthday. Well, then, Dad. And he don't talk like that.
Right.
He's just, a couple, few words, nothing like, well, then, Dad, I guess I'll wish you a happy birthday. But thanks for him. This is the 17th anniversary of my 21st birthday. You got that math?
Yes.
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 So that's how you celebrate. So your next birthday will be the 4th anniversary of your 21st birthday. Because nobody cares after you turn 21 how old you are. Till you turn 50.
No.
You turn 50 and everybody's like, God dang, you're old. And then you turn 60 and you're like, don't die. Like, there's a fine line that people have on your birthday
hit 50
wishes.
and they're like, well, you're about over the hump. That's what they'll say. You're about over the hump.
I'm glad you made it this far, man.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, good job.
I know. We thought the world possibly could have ended this year, but you've made it.
I did see a tweet yesterday.
You've made it.
And this is, no matter who you're voting for this fall, I thought it was funny because all it said was, and again, folks, I am a type of person that can laugh at both sides of. I see funny in everything. I can see funny in it. You ever seen Daniel Tosh or Chris Rock? No joke. You may joke about anything.
Right.
It's just a matter of who, whether you want to take offense to it or you want to be a grown up and be like, hey, that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
But some lady said if all she wanted for 2020 was the Dodgers World Series and Trump gone, and then like last night it was like wait, one down, one to go. It's a very popular person. That's just the reason I say that. I just thought that was for 20. It was like I'll forgive 2020 if the Dodgers can win and Biden wins, and I'm like, there's some weird goals to have.
Weird goals.
I'll forgive 200,000 people dying if we get a different president and if my baseball team wins. Like, what order is her priorities? You think it's the baseball first?
Well, obviously that was what was going to come first.
It might be.
Well, she got that. That was the championship that ended this week. The World Series has come to a close last night as the Los Angeles Dodgers, I hate to say it, but LA won another championship this year.
So, Dodgers won in 6. Lakers won in 6.
Yeah, the Rams win it.
Rams in 6.
If they played 6 games for a Super Bowl.
So I'm just getting 666.
No.
Oh no.
Well,
I'm just getting, guys, my birthday today. I'm getting silly.
They are.
Happy
You're
birthday.
getting silly. Yeah, you can be that way. Just remind people you're being silly. But
fact,
I will say this.
I will
say this though. They are on fire. So
who is?
California is on fire.
Yeah.
So hey, it is what it is.
That is true. It happens every year though.
Every year.
This is one of my birthday presents, by the way.
I wondered why it was sitting here.
Let me see it. Well, Zach's supposed to be here today, and the general when you was growing up, everybody watched the Dukes of Hazzard, and this is even the top comes up. I don't know why. I guess that's to be able to get the people in, but you can stick people in there and everything. So there's the Dukes of Hazzard car that our grandmother just passed away, and we went through the stuff and found some stuff, and my mom just gave me some stuff from my birthday / here's some old stuff from the house and stuff. So that was one of our. And I brought it in today. The reason I brought it in today because Zach, of course, first cousin, same grandma. He grew up in the same house. He will be. He likes old toys and collecting things like that, and he would be extremely excited about that. In fact, Milton already tried to buy it off of me. The antique salesman that works for us.
Oh God!
Tried to buy it from me. He's like, man, you make some money on that. Oh. Is it worth making $20 on it, Hunter, or $10 on it? No,
it's probably not.
No. What are you gonna like? That's when people say something. Man, that's worth $50. Well. What are you gonna spend the $50 on?
Something
McDonald's?
else to sell. That you buy, you get. See, that's how it
You
works.
spend it on double cheeseburgers.
You find something, you sell it, and then the addiction starts almost. Then you see if you can find something else for the money that you sold that piece for, so you could sell it and just keep making more and more money on top of it. It's almost like, an addiction that you just can't stop. He gets the taste of it. He got the taste of the money, and then after that, he wants more of it. So if he was to sell this for $5, he'd try and find something he could buy for maybe $2.50 and then sell the next thing for $5 and then have $7.50. Exactly.
No.
Oh.
So I got it right here. So Milton, talking about the toys, for you folks watching, growing up, I collected these things called starting lineups by Kenner. They're basically figurines. Well, Hunter, I will tell you one of my dreams and much less dream, what I will be doing at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Once they figure out the color technology of this, on how to do the colors. You're familiar with 3D printing, right?
Yes.
I want to do this.
You want to 3D print figurines.
Get this. And once the color will be, because the problem is you can print in one color now.
Mm-hmm.
It's printing in the multiple colors because you can scan in toys. So I could scan in. Let's say, for example, Hunter, let's use my Jose Canseco, for example. I'm sitting right here. Let's say I could scan in Jose, and they could print him, but he would be just like solid
white
blue or whatever, and it wouldn't be colored and painted. Now, once I figure out the manufacturer of being able to do this, now follow me with me, Hunter.
I'm here.
I scan this in, but instead of painting Oakland A's on it, it says Bandy's. Or Bessemer City, or Shelby.
Mm-hmm. And you sell it to the high schools?
Yes. Would you buy a Hunter Yancey action? How much would you pay for a Hunter Yancey action? I've got soccer in here too. We can scan the soccer ones. How much would you pay for a Hunter Yancey Bandy's action figure?
$5.
You wouldn't go more than that?
Probably not.
I'd pay $40.
What?
for your own action figure?
There's no way.
I'm not saying like you go in the store and there's like I'm talking about a personalized. It says Yancey on the back. Not like just a soccer player that says. Now if it's just a soccer player that says Bandy's and it's just regular, I get it. $5.
Yeah.
$10 most. But if it says Yancey on it and got my face and everything and my number and all that, I'm talking about personalized. Think about Chas Surratt or a Sage. Would you buy someone else's? Like if you were in the high school with them, would you buy, like if you went to East, would you have bought a Surratt Brothers action
I don't know.
figure?
I think you're thinking too much into this.
But most people would buy it themselves.
Yes.
That's why I was getting. That's why I was like, what is their price? What price would you go, Hunter, to have a Hunter Yancey action figure? Think about it. You're going to have that your whole life.
The highest
$40.
The highest would probably be 20. I'd cut it in half to do 20.
20.
But even still, if you look at it for how much price of manufacturing that little piece of plastic would be, that has to be a profit.
Mm-hmm.
Probably a pretty substantial one, too, if you just make $20 off of that.
It's probably $1 or $2 of resin or wax or whatever they do. The hard part's obviously the color of the logos and the hats and all that stuff.
Right.
And getting that figured out. But once I saw the 3D print come out and how they scan the toys, that was the first thing that clicked in my mind. Oh my God, we could do Cherry Lineman action figures or Bessemer City Yellow Jacket action figures. Is starting to line up even a thing anymore? No, they're out of business.
Restart the line. See if you can buy the rights.
Somebody now someone in recent years has bought it, and I think they were trying to, but I think the deal may have fell through or something. But something lately has happened. Zach can probably, I know for a fact he could let us in on it. But the reason I brought these two Olympians in here, Hunter, is it kind of shows some people that, it's not just baseball and basketball and football, and I've got hockey. I've got race car drivers. In fact, I've got two Ward Burtons. And I know you're not a NASCAR fan, but Ward Burton is one of the best followers on Twitter. So Ward's an old retired driver, won the Daytona 500. He's Jeff Burton, all them's dad and uncles. So what's cool about Ward is, you remember me showing you the black snake?
Yeah.
That's Ward.
Right.
So Ward just goes out in the woods. He's pretty much like the Duck Dynasty guys.
He just goes out there.
But he don't sell duck calls and make millions. He just goes out there and messes around in the woods and chases animals. And so Ward actually worked with the Virginia, Wildlife Association. I don't know exactly the words for it. But Hunter, he, along with them, have went and not replanted, but replaced the elk population in Virginia.
Okay.
So he has helped bring back elk to Virginia, and they were showing. I saw some videos last weekend of people actually hunting elk in Virginia. So he's a real conservationist in that sense, but he's a fun watch. So I'm going to send that out to him and see if
he'll sign the box.
He'll sign the box for us and send it back to us. I've got two of them, so if I lose one in the mail or something, it don't come back.
If he just forgets to send it back,
so let me.
He's just like, look at this.
All right, hey,
honey,
I didn't even know he had these.
Honey, look at this.
He wanted to keep it.
Well, maybe. He's like, honey, what is it? Look at this. It looks just like me.
So I brought in Milton. I didn't even notice this. Hunter, Milton brought this to my attention that the Olympian girls on the thing, and I'm going to show it up close in just a second. Let Hunter look at it first. It's Olga Corbett, and I don't know where she's from. Well, it says it on the front. It don't. And Nadia Comaneci. Now, Hunter, when you look at these, see if you can look at the two and compare them and see if you notice anything off, per se, is the best way I can put that. So it's two Olympians doing I don't even know what to call. They're doing the balance beam. I do know that. So I'm not totally stupid on exactly what they're doing. But notice anything? I don't want you to take too long. I'll just.
Is it to bend to their back?
No. Look at their feet.
Well, yeah, they're the same feet.
No.
But they're looking different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Look at their feet.
It's the feet are going the same way, but their bodies are looking opposite ways. Is that?
Well, you're getting close. Look at the feet again. Look at each one's feet and see if you see something weird. One of them's legs are upside down.
What?
One of them's feet are upside down.
It's this one. That one's leg was put on here incorrectly. Yeah. This one's leg is correct.
Yeah. Huh. I wonder if that's worth some extra
So they messed up Nadia's leg.
And even, Hunter, when you turn it over on the back of the box, you can still see them messed up back there too.
Yeah.
So I wonder. I got to Google search that and see if they know that or not.
They got all sorts of Olympians on here.
Yeah. I think I've got them all. I really do. Dan, Jesse Owens, Bruce Jenner's been over there.
There's Bruce Jenner
forever. I mean, isn't that the greatest athlete of all time? A woman won the men's triathlon in the 70s. Is that not the greatest athlete ever?
This is your birthday, isn't it? Good God.
Happy.
You just say whatever the hell you want.
A woman won the men's decathlon in 19 whatever it was. Tell me I'm wrong, Hunter. Tell me I'm wrong.
At the time.
Does that not... Is there a Hall of Fame? Is there an Olympic Hall of Fame?
I don't know. That actually is a good question. I don't know. Like, I've always wondered that too about Olympic sports. So we can kind of do that because we can kind of talk about this, go down this rabbit hole. Because nobody, other than the Dodgers winning the World Series, nothing crazy has really happened yet. I have always wondered if there is like a Hall of Fame for Olympians, and it's only because, the Olympics only happens every 4 years.
Right.
And when the Olympics are done, I used to always wonder, like, so what the hell do these athletes do? I don't just turn on television and see, United States National Sprinting Association. Like, they don't just go out there and compete every week against sprint.
Train. And then Hunter, guess what? If you don't make it,
oof. You just wasted all that time.
So from what I gather,
kind of like with Michael Phelps, like he's so great, but like I don't just turn the television on and see him competing in like a league here in the United States. You don't
watch the Phelps Oklahoma swimming league,
no,
wherever he's at.
No, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
like, like they're so.
Manny O. Mitchell, right there, is from Crest High School.
Yes,
he competed in the relay in the Olympics. I think he got a silver, maybe. So basically they work off their sponsorships.
Exactly. That's it.
So like Adidas or Nike will basically sign them. We'll pay you $100,000 a year and you train. Think about a business, Hunter.
Doesn't that sound nice?
Wouldn't you like to have a business where you could just pay random people hundreds to millions of dollars a year just to run? Like, you know what? I got so much money.
Think about it the other way.
I'm going to give Hunter $1 million for a KTC shirt for a year.
But
40 years.
Think about it the other way, though.
Yeah.
All you do is run, and they're paying you hundreds of thousands of dollars to go out and train. And I'm not just going to sit here and act like that's the easiest thing in the world. Train. If they get injured, they're screwed during training. But it's different with like the NFL, MLB, NBA, even though they do play basketball in the Olympics and all that. It's almost like another job. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, but for this, your job is just to train for the Olympics. It's like, okay, all I have to do, say you do shot put, like one of the field things. I don't know what person is just endorsing you to do shot put because I don't think they're selling those balls to anybody. They're like, and here's 2000 and when is the next Olympics? Wasn't it supposed to be this year? But they moved it to next year because of COVID. It was supposed to be in Japan.
Right, it is going to be next year.
Okay, so
the NBA is talking about with their they're working on
probably trying to work around it with their league.
Right, they're trying to get the finals in before the Olympics start because they're talking about reorganizing the schedule. And we can talk about that.
So, but imagine who sponsors that guy, the javelin thrower. I don't know anybody that's just going out here buying a javelin. This company can't be like, we're XYZ Javelin, and we spend $100,000 on 2021 Olympic gold medalist in the javelin throw, Sony Xbox.
They do have them on right.
Do they, though?
I think so. I'm rotating the legs.
I can't do that move, so I can't. I can't.
I'm rotating the legs to where they're even, and if you do that, Hunter.
But this leg goes back, and this leg goes forward.
And the tops of the feet would be in the right position.
Yes.
So they are right.
Are they?
It just looks funny because their heads are reversed.
But their legs are going the same way.
The back foot.
This is intriguing.
Is facing down, and the front foot is facing up. It is right, Milton. It's an illusion. We have fell into an illusion, Hunter. I got you on. I'm now that you look at it, have them just look at one each individually and have them rotate their feet where they're pointing straight down and see if the feet are not pointing in the right direction. Investigative report on a 2001 starting lineup.
By God, I think you're right.
We've been fooled.
We've been had. Because even if you do them like
they look wrong, but
they look wrong, but they're not. Here, I think I got. Well,
is that the angle you want?
No. This is the angle I wanted.
It's a weird angle to be looking at that toy, Hunter.
I know it really is, but look, that's the same foot. All right, that's the same foot on the same side.
There you go.
There we go. What the hell is this show today? Imagine if this was episode 100, which is, in fact, coming up, ladies and gentlemen.
5 episodes away.
5 episodes away.
This is 95.
5 episodes away. So that means it will not be next week. It will not be the week after. It will be in 3 weeks on Monday.
Yeah.
That's how we'll start the week with episode 100.
100.
Who'd have thought,
Unless we cancel it and make it Wednesday, where Zach can be here.
Take the day off?
Yeah, you don't know. This tab is playing audio. It shouldn't be. Stop playing audio.
You never know.
I
guess we can talk about the World Series game now.
So
I don't want to, though, because Atlanta should have been there. but they weren't.
Wasn't the big controversy last night of Turner wearing or being on the field and having tested positive? I see a lot of people.
There were two big controversies about last night's World Series game. The first one that a lot of people are really bringing up was the fact that they pulled Blake Snell in the 6th inning.
Okay.
After only allowing 2 hits. And Mookie Betts was coming up to the plate. That's been the controversy because they pulled in a relief. They pulled the starter, the ace, Blake Snell. They pulled him and put in a relief pitcher who had been struggling in the series. And the call now, everybody's saying it. This was analytics' fault. It was they lived and died by the analytics. They thought that this guy was going to come in. Yeah. They didn't really want Blake Snell seeing Mookie Betts for a 3rd time in the game. So they were going to come in and make the move. And that was almost like an analytical choice. And I was listening to Colin on my way here, and Colin made a good point. He said if they would have looked a little bit deeper at their quote-unquote analytics, you would have seen that Mookie Betts hadn't hit a home run all year against left-handers. And that's exactly what Blake Snell was.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, that's the first big controversy. Because when it happened, Twitter sphere kind of exploded.
Okay.
Even other athletes were like,
bitch about Mookie Betts.
Yeah, even other athletes were like, come on now. I mean, that aren't even playing in the game. Chipper Jones even said it. I mean, he was like, he didn't understand the move because he had only allowed 2 hits.
I mean, Hunter, I have a fat head of me doing this. I paid $100 for it. You don't think I'd pay $40 for a full-on action figure?
Okay.
Look at that.
But
jackets.
So that's the first controversy. And the second controversy is you're right. They end up pulling Justin Turner out of the game for the Dodgers because he tests positive for COVID.
During the game?
I guess during the game. I don't know if they just tested him right.
Wait a minute, that happened during the game?
Yes,
that wasn't before the game?
No, they pulled him during the game. And then he stays in the dugout, just puts a mask on, and then goes out there and celebrates with his team. That's what a lot of people are like, but he's asymptomatic. I think they believe he's asymptomatic if it's true. I want people to realize that, though. How many times have we seen these quote-unquote positives come back as negatives because they were false positives? And that's, again, I'm not taking a shot at the virus saying it's fake. I'm not. I'm just saying if he doesn't have the symptoms, and I know there are people that are asymptomatic, was that, had he tested positive multiple times, or was it just that one time and you had to test him again? And if so, what's this next test show? It's strange. And so those were the two controversies in the game. Other than that, I mean, the Dodgers won it straight out. I'm not going to sit here and say that they do, though, if Blake Snell stays on the mound. I think he could have done a better job against Mookie Betts because when Betts comes to the plate, they bring in that reliever, he hits a RBI double. And that almost completely shifts momentum. I say this all the time, especially either in baseball, football, basketball. You can feel when the momentum shifts, and it's real. Mm. It is. It's just real, and that's exactly what happened in that game last night. And I was rooting for the Rays because obviously I didn't want the Dodgers to win, and I can't stand them. But series MVP was named Seager. They should have been. I'm just glad they didn't give it to the guy they just bought, Betts. I'm glad they didn't do that. But Seager played great throughout the whole World Series, though. He set an NLCS record when he's playing the Braves in RBIs. I think he had 11 or 12. So he's a young stud, plays a shortstop position, and he's got a cannon of a bat. So, you know what? Congratulations to the Dodgers. That's all I got to say about it. I hope you don't win again.
All right, ESPN did the early power rankings already.
For baseball?
For baseball.
Already?
Yeah.
Well, here's my question, too.
Let's see if
here's my question, too, though. Is baseball planning on starting around the same time next year?
I think they will. Their schedule's still the same.
Okay. So far, everything off-season's supposed to look good.
Yeah, I don't think it's affected.
Now, the real question will become when we go into the off-season looking into next year, what do they do schedule-wise? Do they keep the 162, or do they take a look at kind of what their numbers did this year?
So, basketball, I mentioned that earlier, is talking 72. We'll get to that in a little bit. Baseball, I haven't heard anything different right now or seen anything. So I don't 100% know, Hunter. So if you were going to guess, who would be number one in the power rankings?
Probably the Dodgers because they won the World Series.
Who's number two? I'll give you a hint. Rays are 6.
Oh, okay, so they're not there. I was going to say, traditionally, the runner-up would be second.
They're 6th.
Second, Atlanta.
They are.
There we go.
All right, they are. Cardinals are 13.
And you know why it doesn't surprise me Atlanta is second, though? It's because of how how good they played the Dodgers in that series.
If you had to guess, Hunter,
Mm-hmm.
where are the Angels?
If you tell me they're in the top 15, I'm going to lose my mind.
17.
Okay, so they're not in the top 15.
They're
but they're
tied
top,
for the 22nd best record in the league this year.
but they're 17th.
Mm-hmm.
What changed? Like, I don't know where they're looking at the Angels and are just saying you're the 17th best. Like, who are they in front of?
It said it'll be the Pujols' last season.
And is that the reason?
GM. It'll blame. I guess they're blaming Pujols. New GM, and Simmons is going to be a free agent. So I don't even know if they'll keep him. Andrelton Simmons, I think he's a shortstop.
Yes. Andrelton, is that how you say his first name?
Who? I don't know.
Andrelton. 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 I don't know. But Simmons, I know exactly who you're talking about, yeah.
Well, where was it?
Were you lying
There
to
it
me?
is. There it is.
Okay, there it is.
So LA gets 2 parades and 2 riots and within a month. Nobody in LA is worried about Corona. Between the homelessness and the
Yeah, no, they're not worried about COVID.
and that, there's no worry about
right now, they're just worried about not burning to a crisp in California.
People can be mad about people in the South not wearing masks at all a lot. Wherever just depends where you're going, what stores you're going into. It seems like the big box, international stores are enforced it more in the banks and things like that than the small town. Who are the early favorites? And it played a video. That is not what I watched.
No.
I read a whole damn article.
You could probably click on MLB itself, or is that where you're at?
Oh, I'm 100% sure I was in this. It was next year's power rankings. So I went through the teams and was laughing about. I just wanted to. I wanted to tell you that basically they had the Angels up that high. And see
this was going to turn into an Angels.
It's my birthday. I was just like,
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Go ahead.
For no reason.
Go ahead, just bash them. That's fine.
For no reason.
Just bash them. That's fine.
I don't have anything against the Angels. I've got things against people who put crowns on people who aren't.
Gonna crown them.
Going crown them. I don't know. I don't have anything else to baseball. Do you really?
I really don't. It is just one of those things where, it's over now. There's nothing really to talk about other than, way too early power rankings that people usually do once the season is over. This is one of those. I can agree with 1 and 2. Anybody that's the champion should always be.
4.
They were 4? Okay. Yeah. Anybody that's a champion should, in fact, be number 1. So that's fine. Look at that, though. The top 3 teams are all National League teams.
Yeah.
Dodgers, Braves, and Padres.
Indians 12, Cards 13, and the Angels. It's just, it says, sounds like the same old story over the past 5 years, and they keep that's the last sentence in their
sounds like the same story over the last 5 years, but they keep putting them
up there because Mike Trout.
That's exactly right. Did you see this week that I think it was yesterday when it went live? So Shannon Sharp has got a podcast, and I love the name of it. It's called Club Shay Shay.
Oh God,
I love it. But do you know who he interviewed this week? Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. Really.
Now I don't know if he did.
I really don't see Ken Griffey talking to Shannon Sharp, but I guess
he did though.
That's and it was
it was like a 6-minute video that I saw from the whole thing, and he was kind of talking with Ken Griffey Jr. about what was it like in the steroid era that he played in, with people doing it around him. Was he ever did somebody ever try to talk him into it and whatnot? And of course, Ken Griffey was just so well spoken and essentially just was like, no, it just wasn't for me. I was always taught to go out here and play my game, but I wanted Shannon Sharp because a lot of people can consider Ken Griffey probably one of the best players to ever play the game.
Yeah.
I wanted Shannon Sharp to ask him, and I don't know if he did because, like I said, I did not listen to the whole spiel on the Club Shay Shay podcast by Shannon Sharp. I didn't listen to all of it, but I wanted him to ask Ken Griffey Jr. what he thinks about we call them LeBron sexuals, the Mike Trout sexuals. What he thinks about everybody that looks at the one statistic in WAR. And I don't know if he did that. But that would be something from one of the guys who is considered to be one of the best baseball players of all time. When he sees these, way too early power rankings, and they do put the Angels as an organization so high, and it's usually just because of that one guy who statistically in a lot of, statistical categories does not even come close to Ken Griffey Jr. at this point in time in his career. So that's what I really want to see. I might go back and listen to it just to see if that is the case. But wouldn't you like maybe, and I know they won't do it because some people would say it's disrespectful, but wouldn't you like some of the greats to kind of come out and just be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Y'all need to calm down on this crowning Mike Trout, because what was it? John Bone Jones did exactly what I would love to see baseball greats do that we consider better to be Mike Trout. When they said Khabib is the greatest fighter of all time after he won, it stayed undefeated and won again in this when he fought against Gaethje last. John Bone Jones came out in a video and said he's got 4 world championships to my 11. Like, he did a whole spiel on, y'all must have forgot who I am. And I would just love for people, and I'm not like how we say, I'm not saying Mike Trout is bad, but
it's whatever's on today.
Why we got to crown Mike Trout when they had Ken Griffey Jr.? There was a whole spiel online, wasn't it, months ago? They were trying to say that Ken Griffey Jr. couldn't hold basically Mike Trout's jockstrap.
Yeah, a lot of it was
because of war. What?
Mm-hmm.
I would just love to see some of those baseball players, like A-Rod, Barry, some of those guys, to basically be like, hey, what the hell are you talking about right now? Especially A-Rod. Because I know people give A-Rod a lot of shit because of his off-field antics, but the man can always show, not just statistically that he's better than Mike Trout, A-Rod can also hold up a couple World Series rings on his finger that he won with the Yankees. I mean, isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
To win a championship? And if you're not helping your team get to that opportunity to win a championship, what are you good for? I could sit here right now and say Mookie Betts is better than Mike Trout. He came into the Dodgers. The Dodgers had made the World Series the past, 3 out of the 4 years. They lost. They add him, and they get there, and then they win. So he could be the X factor, the guy that made the difference.
So here's what's weird about the advanced stats and everything, Hunter.
Like, why does it got to be advanced? All you're doing is just adding other statistics.
More numbers to
numbers.
You're just
exactly.
So 56 hits, 17 home runs, 41 runs, 46 RBIs.
Right.
Those are things that if I said, Hunter, go on a baseball field and do, you could try to do.
Exactly.
Those are things that...
That's what we would call manalytics. You can do it. It takes
the lowest
him to
number
do
of
it.
those is 17.
And that was home runs.
Right. So this is what we're arguing about. So I could say he had 17 home runs. How many Osuna had? He led the league. What was it?
Osuna had 19?
19. I don't think it was 20. So we'll argue over 19 to 17 home runs, and it's easy to say, well, I hit 2 more.
Right.
But we put all our emphasis on this WAR stat that is his Trout's WAR was 1.6. So how in the world is any number significant that's 1.6 more significant than 57 hits or 17 home runs or any of that, to where what we're arguing about?
Ozuna hit 18 to Mike Trout 17. So he had one more.
So in 60 games this year, he helped his team win 1.6 games. They had a losing record. And again, it's 1.6 invisible makeup games over a makeup player. So none of it's real. It's just magic and wizardry and just throwing numbers up and saying, this is why this means that.
I mean, I can add up. I could always add up a bunch of numbers and create something else and say, well, it's different because you could almost say it goes along with the word we used Monday in narrative. You want to paint the narrative. So what are you going to do? You're going to skew the numbers to be how you want them to be. You're going to add them up so that they equal what you want them to be.
I mean, they would honestly have a conversation about 1.6 versus 2.1 WAR, as opposed to 35 versus 25 home runs. Like that would be the argument.
45 to 35 RBIs.
Yeah, like wait a minute, guys. I actually hit a home run. You're saying you're better because you won an invisible stat game by 0.3.
Right.
By 0.3, whatever it is. It's just that stuff's weird. As far as Griffey's concerned, I think a good comparison on him, Hunter, is it's not quite LeBron, but like for our era, he was.
I'm just saying, I would like some of these guys that are upper echelon and could be considered baseball royalty to just look at this and say, y'all got to stop with this nonsense. It's just nonsense.
Right. So Griffey was looked at by our generation as the best player maybe ever.
The swing.
And that was before, and I tried to explain to Terry, I was like, Terry, you have to remember, before Bonds hit the 73, nobody, Hunter, I mean nobody, and he can sit there and say that they did all they want, but nobody thought that Bonds was better than King Griffey Jr. Everybody thought Griffey was better. Griffey led the league in home runs 5 times, 40, 56, 56, 48. Also had homers, a 45, 49. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times he had 40 home run seasons.
Yeah.
In center field. Now, Bonds, the most he ever hit besides the 73 was 49, and that was the season after that. So his 2 biggest numbers are definitely steroid infused, and his next number is 46. So let's say 46 is the legitimate number for Bonds. Griffey still did that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. No, 4 times. It's 45, not 46. So 4 times he hit more than that. So, and defensively, is anybody saying Mike Trout's the best defensive player in baseball?
I don't think he's got a gold glove.
No, he doesn't have any. King Griffey Jr. has 10 of them. And it's because everyone thought that's the best defensive center fielder in baseball. Like it wasn't even a concept. And then him getting hurt at the same time that Bonds was exploding while on steroids buried him in a way that was extremely unfair. And all of a sudden everybody's talking about Bonds. Now the thing about Bonds, Hunter, that the 1 year he hit 73, I've never seen anything like it. McGwire's 70 home run season. Here's the difference between the two. You had to mess up and you had to mess up. McGwire usually hit mistakes, or more like he wasn't as big a threat. They walked him on purpose more, as far as so he didn't hit it out of the park. But the thing about Bonds was that he hit everything in the zone. Like you could pitch to certain parts of the plate against McGwire. If it was over the plate,
well, that's why
Bonds hit it. And
we
then
always
he added
said
30
that.
yards of distance.
We always said he was a great hand-eye contact batter. That's why now that he's not playing, he's a batting coach.
Right. Hunter, that year I wasn't as impressed with the home runs as I was as his batting eye. He would watch this and he would honestly, Hunter, he would sit there and watch pitch after pitch after pitch, and as soon as one was in the inside corner, bombs away. And up until that year, he didn't bat that way. No, he hit it good. You were scared, but you never went in the game thinking Bonds is about to hit one 500 feet. He's gonna, if he does hit it out, it's gonna scrape over the wall. But so I think you're right, Griffey. That to me, Hunter, it's almost like he didn't get to championships like LeBron, but to me, he was our generation's LeBron in the fact that the kids looked up to him and how he dressed and how he acted, and he's the
backwards
kid.
hat.
He's always smiling.
King Griffey Jr. basically trademarked the backwards hat in baseball.
So Jordan was more fan friendly as far as the fans go. I mean, Griffey was more fan friendly as far as like I could maybe be him. Everybody's like, I can't be Jordan. We had coaches. Every basketball team I've ever been on, I told you, Hunter, they wouldn't let you wear 23. And then everybody's like, you can't be Jordan, but you can use his work ethics. You remember, you've seen the picture of him staring at Dean Smith there on the sideline when about to put in a game, and like he's listening to Dean Smith.
Yeah.
So we'll transition into the basketball with that. So I watched a podcast with Jordan on it. It was a cigar podcast, Cigar Aficionado, and so him and this guy sat there and smoked cigars the whole time and talked about it. One of his dreams is to actually go to Cuba and visit the cigar factories. And this guy is from Cuba, and he's like, they would stop the factory for 10 minutes, worship you, tell you how great you are, and then the communists would be like, go back to work right now.
Yeah.
and so that was he was saying stuff and talking about the 6 championships to the 4, but he also said you can't compare errors because who played against who, and it's different styles and all that, and it was an interesting podcast. It wasn't as intense as The Last Dance, but it was he had some good questions about him. One of the ones that I was thinking about even maybe cutting it from Saturday, he asked him, him and Jordan got into the nuances of running the Charlotte Hornets as far as a small market franchise coming back from moving to New Orleans. Like, he talked about all of that. So I would highly recommend you actually watching a lot of that, because it would inform you. It's too much for me to explain, but he talked about almost everything that we've asked about as far as, running the basketball operations. He even admitted nobody's coming to Charlotte as a free agent. He said he said we didn't think drafting the first few years was as important as we do now. Now you have to get everything right. He said, well, you make mistakes early and you sit there 4 or 5 years later and the guy's not doing that great. You got to make changes. Like, I'm thinking he's talking about Kid Gilchrist on that one.
Yikes.
Don't you?
Yikes. Probably.
So
he would use Kid Gilchrist as an example.
Well, he beat him one-on-one.
That's what I was going to say. He could use him for anything because he beat him one-on-one.
Crazy.
Like, Kid Gilchrist can't say, keep my name out of your mouth, because MJ be like, excuse me?
So what Michael was something unattainable. Griffey was the hero or the athlete that you thought Mike could do if you worked on the swing, you played defense.
Yeah.
But he was still the best. And it was just, I don't know, there are different ways to look at him. I think he got screwed in the Bonds thing maybe more than anybody if you go back and think about all of that. That did happen. That was just all that was weird. With Jordan, so he talked about a little bit about baseball, how he's been involved with giving ideas or such, or talking with Jeter about the Marlins and things like that.
Well, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Jeter was a Jordan ambassador.
He talked about Bob Johnson not being involved in the community in Charlotte at all, and how you got to be involved. He talked about Charlotte leading the NBA for 10 years in attendance. And Hunter, I remember that more than anything is because, I went to a lot of those games, and the Hornets were really proud of that. They hung those banners in the old Coliseum. Like, teams will hang championships. Hornets hung those attendance banners up in it. And
this is how people can look at it too.
Charlotte, North Carolina,
for 10 years
with Duke in North Carolina, not 1 year, 2 years, 10.
But
years.
This is the thing too. You got to have a good product to put on the floor. That's one thing that they're struggling with.
He mentioned that, about Larry and Zoe and some of the older phase, like the Hornet. Here's his reasoning for that. He actually went into it. I'm glad you said that. He went into it because they talked about the guys you draft now are 19 and not ready.
Right.
He said, so you don't know. He said the guys back then when you drafted them, they were 22. They've been coached by a college coach.
Sometimes people knew who they were in college.
And a lot of them are almost grown-ass men.
Mm-hmm.
So when you draft a guy...
I love that he said that.
Yeah.
Because that's the truth.
They were talking about the 19-year-old age, and he likes the baseball rule, whether you have to stay once you go.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of got into all that. That's one reason as far as, bringing in the fans and getting them is that, that they knew these guys. Now you bring in a high school kid that's nobody knows, one, and then two, he's not ready. So Jordan and LeBron both won the championships when he's 27 years old. So if you come in high school, that's 8 years in the league. How many people will last 8 years
if you're not
in a professional league?
I'm just saying, if you're not producing, most of the time you're out after your rookie contract.
So by the time you're 22, 23, you might not either you've developed with the jump shot in practice, or you've learned some fundamentals in college. And I see both of them's argument. I think my biggest thing was if college would just pay them, because Jordan was talking about his thing was like, he's like, but the kids, he said, most of these kids, they need the money. And he said, you can't tell somebody to go, you have to go to college when there's millions of dollars on the table. He said, I see that side, and you just can't tell them that. So I think the colleges got to figure out a way for these kids, these athletes. I don't want to call them kids, but student athletes, or you don't even almost want to call them that now, but to where they're paid a good part-time salary. Well, you don't have to make $50,000, $100,000. I think the schools, Hunter, can figure out a way in the NCAA to where everybody gets some type of pay to where it's almost like a part-time job, where it's $2,000 a month or whatever. Then, if Hunter Yancey Chevrolet wants to sponsor somebody, then you could pay the Chasserats $500,000 or something to come do your commercials.
I will tell you what. college athletics will more than likely be looking that direction within the next 2 to 3 years.
I hope.
Because they are running out of reasons to keep kids to want to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
What's going to happen if the NFL looks at basically football and says, we're going to lower it. Like, we'll let them come in if they're ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing I used to say about when they could come out of high school for the NBA. There were only a handful of people that did it and actually turned out successful. Like, just because you think you can doesn't mean that you should, because it doesn't mean that you're going to be successful. Like, Kobe Bryant, he was going to be successful whether he went to college or came straight out of high school. But some of these guys, like Paul George needed to go to college. Kawhi Leonard needed to go to college.
Scottie Pippen needed to go to college.
Scottie Pippen, he needed to go to college.
Arkansas.
There's no guarantee that if you just come straight out of high school that you're going to make it. And so if the college athletics looked at it that way and did give the kids the option, to me, it comes down to this too. I don't want this one and done stuff, because that's a waste of 6 months. It is. If you're here, you're committed for at least 3 years.
Yeah.
Because then they also have to look at it this way. If you're good enough after 3 years to go pro, go ahead. If not, get your degree. What's that going to hurt? You finish a bachelor's in 4 years.
They should already have some type of. Most guys, they go in there, they either get a business administration or something basic like that. They should have. Hunter, why is there not some type of coaching degree? Like, think about it. To be a coach, what do you have to do to be a coach?
Well,
some
be a
coaches
coach,
get coaches by never coaching in their life, and all they did was play.
Sometimes they do that. Some of them are coaches' assistants, and they live in like the dang facilities just because they don't make no money.
Some people,
graduate coaches.
Some people that they never play basketball in their life, and they end up being a basketball coach. Some people played in college and are coaches. There's so many different pathways, and we don't have any. What if we actually had? Where you went to college in like you had college football classes where you learned how to draw up plays, where you learned how there is no training for coaching other than on the job. Is
and
what
I
I'm
don't
trying to
understand either. Is
all of these guys could be like majoring in coaching.
Well, here's the thing
or business administration or sports management.
Less than 1% of college athletes go pro. They know this.
Right.
They know this going in.
There should be 2-year degree programs.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Across the board. To where after 2 years,
there should either be a 2-year degree program or there should be trade schools, trades that you can learn.
So after
in
2 years
in
at
the
North Carolina,
universities.
no matter what, I should have a 2-year degree.
Yes.
I mean,
because think about it, sometimes they leave early because they don't want to take the risk of getting injured and losing the opportunity of getting drafted. But also after those 3 or 4 years that somebody's been there, they're going to look down the bench and say, I'm going to get drafted, but these guys aren't. So it's over for them unless they try and go play overseas. Maybe they're good enough to play overseas. But other than that, it's time to look at jobs. And so I'm not going to say they don't want to apply themselves, but if they don't want to have to take, just an ordinary business degree, or they don't want to get whatever other, it's like, college is hard, so I don't want to just say an easier path to a degree.
Well, everybody knows what you mean.
Okay, so you do know what I mean.
There's basic majors, there's basic things, there's general things.
So what I'm saying is, like, they should be able to, if they wanted, yes, as opposed to engineering. You're right, or like thermodynamics, whatever, all that stuff. Yes. There's some things that are a little bit more basic, but if you were to implement some sort of trade system. Because that's one thing, and I know this is not sports related, but I know that's one thing that's really dying in the United States is trades. Nobody's just coming out of high school saying, I want to be a plumber. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's just coming out saying, I want to be an electrician. Unless that's their last option. That's the only thing that they know how to do. So you could put you could put that opportunity in front of somebody and say, look, you're still going to be able to play here and play athletics. Absolutely. And you don't have to maybe necessarily do a engineering degree or the big business degree. You can get your trade degree or certification.
So when I was growing up, and mostly when you're growing up, a lot of it, I know now the last 10 years have changed a lot for you, but most of your life you've been in this information computer age to where so for example, Hunter, one problem with today's society is goof-offs can be millionaires. Yeah. Slackers can be millionaires.
YouTube.
Idiots can be millionaires.
YouTube.
Oh, you're exactly what I'm talking about.
They just make dumb videos.
Think about it. Well, when
I watch them. I'll admit it.
When I'm a kid growing up and stuff, like, you got teachers that say, don't spend time playing video games. Be on your school. Listen to your teachers. Don't goof off. I don't know how many, you have conversations with, like, I think I remember telling some girl one time, one of my friends, I'm like, you do know you can't get rich off, you just being cool or popular or something. But now, think about, I feel bad for the guys. Be like, now, the girl you're talking to in high school may have 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Right.
And you're just like, it used to be me and I'm competing against the 10 other guys in the school. And now they're making money off grown people. And it's just a weird world that, like, how do you convince a kid that he needs to go to plumbing school or he needs to go to electricity school and make $50-$80 an hour,
right?
Actually having to work, or hey, do you want to eat Doritos and shake your ass on TikTok? Like, that.
Yeah.
I've been a kid. I know what I would have chose if you could have told me I can get paid for. Like right now, I'll quit everything I can if somebody would pay us on YouTube a year.
We'll
talk this. We'll do this 8 hours a day. Year. If y'all will pay us. If somebody will pay us.
Yeah, absolutely. Monday through Friday.
But I get it. I totally get the mindset of why you would do that. But it's just for everyone that makes it big, though. Like with college football players and basketball, there's 100 or so that don't. And so, yeah, I mean, I've got a buddy that makes money off the internet and it's just insane, like what he makes money off of, and you're just like, like same thing. So Terry can sit here, Hunter, and break down Larry Bird highlights all day and not get any hits. And then there's this British lady who doesn't know anything about basketball or Larry Bird and oohs and ahs at his plays and gets 500,000 to 600,000 hits. And so that's why you think, man, this is. It's a tough place. Hey, speaking of that, I did have something to bring up for you. Now, I'm pretty sure there's no copyright on this one.
It is tough. I'm trying to make money, obviously, and through the internet, just because it's so saturated. It is. They talk about what market is so saturated, and it is the internet. It's exactly what it is.
I wonder if I can get this screen going. I want to pull it up for you. So. This is my birthday, so bear with me.
Yeah, you can do what you want.
Bear with me here. I'm going to try to get a screen pulled up, Hunter, because what's going on here is so back at app we had to take these classes. Wonder if this one will do it. So it was a TV broadcasting class. Okay, so for example, one of the there we go. So I got it up. So one of the classes in one of the classes in your TV broadcasting thing, one of them you do a whole TV show. Another one you make interviews. Like so you'll interview. Mine was specialized in baseball umpires.
Okay.
So I was umpiring during the summer and stuff, and so I just interviewed a bunch of umpires and showed some B-roll, showed some video of kids us playing and umpiring, and we were asking about arguing with the umpires. It was just a fun little video. So this video was about 4 to 5 years before I was there, but it's the same class.
Okay.
And Hunter, they have shown this video to probably every class that's ever been through there. Now, all pretty much I have to say is it has 1.9 million views. And the way they describe it to us in class is that we shouldn't, shouldn't do this.
Shouldn't do that?
Shouldn't do this.
Really?
Okay?
They must not understand YouTube.
Right.
Well, they don't. They didn't then. They obviously do now.
Right. So this is what not to do on a video.
Okay.
Now I'm going to warn you. It may be the corniest thing you've ever seen in your life.
Really?
It's going to rank up there.
Really?
It may be. So let's get it ready to play for folks at home. This is Appalachian State University is hot, hot, hot.
High upon the mountain above the rest, there's a university that's going places, working together to be the best. Appalachian family of smiling faces. hot, hot, hot. Come and let us show you what we've got. Come and let us show you what we're hot, hot, hot.
Heck of a song, though, ain't it?
What?
What? A heck of a song. Whoever put that together.
Look at that.
I warned you. I tried to warn you. So again, this was posted in 2005. I was in school. That was the last year. About last year, I was in school. And so this video was made about 99ish.
Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. Come and let us show you what we've got.
All right.
Let us show you what we're hot, hot, hot.
We still got another minute.
Oh no! No!
We still got another verse. Do you want to learn the words and sing along?
No.
Well, the last part is the chorus.
This is so loud.
The chorus. Give me turn it down. Yeah. Is that better?
Oh my god. That was blowing my
Appalachian is hot,
eardrums out.
Hot, 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 hot. Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. Come and let us show you. I think I know one of those girls. She's from Lincoln. Look at this graphics. Boom!
Damn.
That's 1990 graphics. Tell me that ain't good. So what do you think, Hunter, of the Appalachian State is hot, hot, hot video?
What do I think about it?
Does it rank up there in top 10 corniest things you've ever seen? Was I
Appalachian-
right about that?
Listen, I will say this. Anybody that sees that and thinks that's at the beach or something like that.
Think about
listen-
that. What does that mean?
I know.
What is
Appalachian
hot?
is hot. What do you mean? Are you mean that? Oh, it's like it's kind of hip to go here now. It's hot. Like everybody's talking about them. It's heating up around here. Because let me tell you something.
I don't know.
It is not hot in Appalachian.
No.
All right, it is not. For maybe 75% of your school year, you are going to be cold.
You get 2 months of warm.
That's about it. There you go.
It-
All right, so
it
it's
may be
85,
three. It might be
90%.
3 months of
You might
warm.
have 85% cold. Well, and there's nothing hot about Appalachian. I just don't understand.
Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. Do you remember me saying that a couple weeks ago? And I told you I had to find that video for you. I think it was on a Saturday show, and there was something we were talking about
I
the
don't know.
football. And I was just like, all y'all need to know is Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. And I know
Oh
none of
my
y'all got it when I said it, but I was like, I'm going to show you the video for
I can't.
For
I just
that.
can't, man. Thank God that, like, it's just not. Well, it is and it isn't stuck in my head. The only thing that's stuck in my head right now from that is hot, hot, hot. Because I don't understand. What's so hot? I have questions.
I don't know.
I gotta know what's hot about Appalachian.
We did too. We sit in class like, I don't know.
But there you go. That's a random
That's a
example.
class. 1.9 million
1.9
views.
million views. That is random as shit.
All of my videos were better than that as far as like not sucking that
I'm trying to think when we did videography, what I did at my broadcasting school. What did I do? I think what I did was essentially it was just teaching us to use some of like the cameras and stuff that they were using. So I took it to the next level. It's like, well, we're not just going to make this like a little news segment. I'm going to try and make this like a little action TV show. So I would like stop, move, play, stop,
God.
move. I was getting all the angles. I laid down with it
Oh,
and
God.
got an angle of a guy running out of the door, kind of like it was down like this. Oh, it was so fun. Oh, it was fun.
We had to do 2 shows. One of them was a recorded show, so we did like a.
See, we did a lot of. If we did shows, most of ours was radio based.
Do you remember in Entertainment Tonight?
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember that show, but it used to just be a show like on NBC or CBS that
Yeah, I
come on
know.
and talk about celebrities and stuff.
Right,
So
right.
I was in a group with
Like,
mostly.
I think it's been taken over by like the E network now. Like that's basically what it is.
So I was in a group with mostly girls, and that's what they
Oh,
wanted to do.
Okay. Yes.
So it was E Tonight. So the group I was in with mostly guys. This was when ready for it. This was right when maybe year 2, 3 tops of when Around the Horn came out.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
we did an Around the Horn show.
Reality show.
So we had 4 guys sit there and a host, and we did that. That was
Right.
that was fun. That was pretty. I enjoyed that one.
When we did shows, we mostly did radio. We had one where we had to do, it was a nonprofit, so I got in touch with a local church from my area. We interviewed them on the radio and did that. But then other than that, if we did have radio shows, essentially was you had your group, and you would go in there and you would do your live shows for maybe a certain amount of time. And we did a sports show, and that was what it is. You know, I expect, you know, I know not every guy is into sports, but most guys, when they're in some sort of media outlet, they're wanting to do some sports.
In the classes that weren't. One of them especially, I would bet my life on it now he's doing some type of voiceover work. I'm talking about like, he sounded just like the movie guy. That goes, in a time.
Okay.
When
Right.
he could do that.
Yeah.
It was and it was no effort. It was just he was just talking class and his voice would make
There was
the
a
whole
guy
room
in our
vibrate.
class.
And Hunter,
He loved
he weighed
voiceover work.
135 pounds with a beard. He looked like Phil Robertson.
Oh, okay.
And he had a beard down to here,
Yeah.
and he weighed 130 pounds soaking wet, and he
And
had the
that
deepest
deepest
voice.
voice.
I mean, Hunter. I mean, I'm not gay, but I mean,
Whoa!
if he would have tried to hold my hand, I might not have said no. I'm just saying, he had a sexy voice.
Okay, so that's what you were
Marty.
trying to say. You're trying to tell me you had a sexy voice.
I don't know what I was trying to say.
Listen,
But seriously,
there was
like,
a kid like that.
It
and-
was so movies, and he would do it he would be like, Marty, do a movie thing. And he'd just,
Right.
In a time of war and in a time in Boone when it snows and 22 degrees. He would just
Right.
make up something. It sounds so good.
We had a kid in class that wanted to do voiceover work. That was what he wanted to do, was do voiceovers. Then we had another guy, though. His goal, seriously, he's like, I want to work for NPR. I was like, he's like, I want to do the politics on NPR. And I'm like, bro, that's like the most boring channel in the nation. Like, they have no life when they talk on there.
I'd rather be,
I'd rather talk about celebrities. And I don't even like celebrities.
I would rather be Snuffleupagus on PBS.
He don't even hardly talk.
He's the best one. Don't it take 2 people to do him?
I think it does.
And he like Eeyore too, like from Winnie the Pooh, down in the dumps.
Yeah.
Snuffleupagus down in the dumps.
Yeah. My mom liked him as a character,
Where did they
too.
get that name from? All right,
I don't know.
So let's talk a little football. We're going to get in the rankings. I got to go down the hall and get them. But I want to start you off with this story and let you comment. Did you see this fantasy football loss?
No.
A stat correction changed a sack to a tackle for a loss in the Bears-Rams Monday night game, causing a fantasy football fan, 41-year-old insurance agent from St. Louis, to lose $997,000.
What?
Lost $1 million. For 30 minutes after the game, he thought he had won the $100 million first prize in DraftKings. Everything had worked perfectly for Hunt's down the stretch in the win. One of Hunt's lineups featured both the Bears and Rams defenses, had scored 92.79 points, the most out of 176,000 entries. His computer screen showed him winning $1 million first prize. He texted all his friends and called his parents and took his dog for a walk. When he got back, he refreshed his computer screen just to see his headphone on top, and boom. A sack that had been credited to the Bears defense in the fourth quarter was changed to a running play. A 3-yard loss by Goff. The 3-yard loss dropped Hunt's into a tie for 6th place with 18 other entries, and his prize money dropped from $1 million to $3,000 on a stat change.
Well, who's the statistician that made that change?
Do you think they had anything to do with the DraftKings
That's
people
exactly
that had to pay
what I
out the
think
money?
it is. I no lie. When you said that to me, I'm like, so it was
No conspiracies, Hunter.
So no. There will be in betting. There will be in betting.
Isn't
They did
every
not. They
police
did not want to pay $1 million.
Isn't every police investigation a conspiracy theory?
Huh?
Isn't every single police investigation technically a conspiracy theory?
Why?
Because you have a theory that you committed a crime and conspired and did something.
Okay.
So every single one.
I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
okay. This one though, this is so shady. First of all, they changed the
Yeah, I
sack
got you.
to a tackle for loss on Jared Goff.
Right.
First of all,
Says
was
Go-
it a
It
designed
says
run?
Goff faked a handoff to the right side, then bootlegged back to the left. The defender didn't fight on the fake. and teamed with another defender to tackle Zach Goff behind the line of scrimmage. They were initially credited with a sack, but the official score later changed the play to a 3-yard loss. Well, I talk Hunter all the time about referees and games fixed, and this is how you fix it. Simple math, right? If it's left the same, this guy wins $1 million. DraftKings calls and says, "Hey, statistician, we'll pay you $100,000 to change it."
that.
They just saved $900,000, and that guy made $100,000.
And that dude made 3,000. The guy that missed out on the million. Like, it's crazy to me that would be the change. I would have to see the play to see if it was deserving of a tackle for loss. But I'm going to tell you what, that is the fishiest thing I've heard all day. Maybe all month. Seriously. You got a guy with the potential of winning $1 million. $1 million off of playing fantasy football. And then all of a sudden, on his screen, it says, you know what? You won. You did it. It's yours. You got the $1 million. Refresh. Oh, shit. Wait a minute. No, you didn't. That's just a joke, man. That's such a joke. I feel so bad for that guy. You probably can't prove it, and I wouldn't. Because to me, first thing I would have said is, damn, buddy, you better lawyer up. What the hell is up with that? On your screen, it's telling you got the $1 million prize. You're the one that came in first. You did everything right. And then the next minute, apparently after you walked your dog, gone. It's just gone. And you get $3,000 instead. I will say this, though, on a fantasy football game, if I could make $3,000, shit, I'd do it. And I'd take it and run. But there's a big, big difference between $3,000 and then like $900 and almost $1 million that you were basically going to get. That's a big difference. I would understand if there was a difference between like, oh, you could have won $3,500 and $3,000. No. This is $3,000 because you got in sixth and you were tied for sixth. And $1 million. Come on, you got to feel for a guy like that, you know? That's horrible. Because I know I hate it whenever I lose just a bet and I don't even put money down. You're looking at your buddy and you're like, hey, man, I'm $5 right here that this happens. It doesn't happen. You're like, shit, I was just kidding. I don't have the $5. And now you're sitting here. I don't even know if he had any money put up. Probably. I think DraftKings, I think you do have to pay just a little bit. Depending on probably what level of DraftKings you're playing. I don't know. I don't play DraftKings. I've heard a lot of people say I should, though. But dang, man, out of $1 million, you only get $3,000? I hate that. I would have to see the play, though. I would have to see exactly what it looks like. Because to me, on a bootleg for, it's a RPO probably. That's what the play is. Run pass option. For those of you that don't know, RPO. So essentially what it is Jared Goff, what he's going to do is he's going to have the opportunity to keep the ball in the running back's stomach on a handoff and watch that edge rusher to see if he comes here or not. If the edge rusher bites on the running back, he's going to pull the ball and keep it, and then he's going to roll out on the bootleg. And the RPO part, the P stands for pass, so if he sees somebody's downfield, he's going to throw the ball. So to me, I would have to see the play to be able to tell you whether or not it deserved to be overturned.
So
because to me, you even on a bootleg, if he's rolling out to the side, do they not still count that as a sack?
It should be.
No, it's not an RPO. It's not a read. So the running back's or the quarterback's not keeping it to run, and it was behind the line of scrimmage. And the quarterback, I usually think they count those as sacks. I don't know. That's strange, man. Unless you have to be within the pocket. But is that a rule that you have to be in the pocket for that to count as a sack?
This is all kind of in the question. Hunt said it had to be a sack. There's no way. This got lost. There's no other way to look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Rams wide receivers appear to be blocking downfield, an indication of a designed run, is what they were saying. They think it was designed. Says plays such as this are routinely discussed in the stats crew and updated accordingly, according to an NFL official. In this instance, because the play had happened so close to the end of the game, it was reviewed by the stats crew, then updated prior to publishing the game summary. Stats corrections are not uncommon. He said he lost $5,000 on a stat correction earlier this year. This one's far more painful, obviously.
That's $1 million.
It says he was sacked by Walters and Hicks. Let's see if I can find the
play
video.
in question.
Goff sacked by Walters and Hicks.
Probably this past weekend.
Let's see if I can find the video for it. There's a lot of information on it. Let's see if this comes up. Probably best bet we'll just type in YouTube. All right, Hunter. I'm pulling up also while we're going here. I've got our NFL Power Poll, and I'll go ahead and pull that up, and you can kind of say what you will about that as we go. Did that really already update it? Or did I miss? That is it.
Yeah, that's it. Last week we didn't have the Bengals marked out.
All right, the only thing I messed up, though, I forgot to put the 2 next to the Bears loss. Don't they got 2 losses,
They
right?
do have 2 losses, and the Rams have 6 wins.
Okay, so then I did not update it from yesterday. I thought I must have updated it Monday morning is what I did. I didn't update it. I'd still leave them on the same spot, though, with that. A lot of people got the Rams higher now. Let me tell you the seedings, the actual NFL seedings, as we go over that. So, folks, the way my power poll works is this is the Super Bowl power poll. This is your chances to win the Super Bowl. If you're not in the playoffs, you can't win the Super Bowl. That's why the Saints and 49ers are not ahead of the Philadelphia Eagles. I know, folks, those 2 teams are probably better than the Philadelphia Eagles, but guess what? They can't win it if you ain't in it. And that's the most simplest way to looking at that. Number 1 team, of course, is my Pittsburgh Steelers, undefeated. And if it wasn't for the Seahawks, Hunter, choking the weekend away, they would have been the only 2 undefeated teams left after I picked them both to make the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
I have left them in the 2 spot because, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, 2 AFC teams can't be in the top 2 because you can't win the Super Bowl if you ain't in it. You got to have an NFC team. So my 1 and 2 spots are going to be AFC, NFC, and then after that through 14 based on what I think can win it. Right now, the 1 seed is the Packers, 2 seed Seahawks, 3 Bucks, 4 Eagles, 5 Bears, 6 Cardinals, 7 Rams. That means the Saints and 49ers. Rams only got 5 wins, Hunter. Saints and 49ers would be out of the playoffs right now. First round matchup would be Seahawks and Rams, Bucks hosting the Cardinals, and Eagles hosting Bears in the Nick Foles Bowl.
Ooh.
Would that be interesting, Hunter?
I think it would
Nick
be
Foles
interesting.
Bowl? In the AFC, we've got the Steelers 1, Chiefs 2, Titans 3, Bills 4, Ravens 5, Browns 6, Colts 7. That means Chiefs would host the Colts, Titans host the Browns, and Bills hosting Ravens in round 1. Only 1 game out of the playoffs right now, Hunter. In the 8th spot is the Miami Dolphins, and they just benched their quarterback for getting there.
Yep. Tua starts this weekend. Oh, man.
On a team expected to be 1-5, you're in the playoff hunt, and you get benched. They were talking, Hunter, about benching Foles again, back to Trubisky. Like, what was that going to do? All of a sudden, Trubisky's better. Is the best player on the team the backup quarterback in Chicago no matter what?
Possibly.
Like what makes you think we should switch from Trubisky,
Yeah.
who played at North Carolina, who couldn't beat Duke and NC State, to Nick Foles, the Super Bowl MVP, and then be like, you know what? He lost 1 game, Hunter. It's over.
Yeah.
They lost 1 game. Dak was 1-3 this year, basically, and people were saying, and his leg fell off, and like he's got to come back. But the Super Bowl MVP, who's 4-1, we got to bench him.
Possibly.
He lost 1 game.
Possibly.
I hate quarterbacking. I hate it. It just depends on whose opinion is in charge. It's all that matters. Who's in charge?
It's what you like more. It's what you like more, you know?
Silliness. Extreme silliness of the quarterback position. You just don't know.
You don't know. Actually, no, you do have that right. Well, you have the Rams right.
Yeah.
And you have, but you just didn't put the Bears in
Right.
the extra loss. Yeah, you're right. You're right. I was just looking at that and I was like, wait a minute. Because technically, the Rams play again this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, wait.
Most people play again this weekend.
No, I'm just saying, Monday, some people, like, they don't realize that Monday technically is the end of that week, and Thursday is the beginning of this next week for football.
It doesn't look like I'm going to find...
You're probably
the
not,
play.
because it's not.
It's a random play.
Yeah, it is a random play, and it's only that big of a deal for that guy, really.
Yeah.
But it did, hey, let me tell you something. That's a pretty damn big deal, okay?
I mean,
I just sat here and just told you, like, look, it'd be different if he was getting $3,500, missed that, and only got $3,000.
Yeah.
You got, okay, so you didn't get the $500. No. You went from $1 million to $3,000. That is a very substantial jump. And the fact that
you'd
on
be
hi-
pissed if
the
you went from
fact
$1 million
on-
to 400,000.
I know. The fact
$3,000.
the fact that on his screen it said you're the winner, and then like what? He walks his dog, refreshes it, and he's no longer
He was
the
going to have
winner.
to pay more in taxes than he ended up winning.
Oh my god, dude!
3,000. I want to ask Andre when he comes out here, see what he thinks about this. How mad he would be. We got to get him down here in a second. But look at our power poll, folks. We've eliminated. When it says eliminated, that means there's no use to talk about them. They're not winning the Super Bowl. Jags, Falcons, Texans, Broncos. Hey, Andre, come here real quick. You got a sec? Did you see this story about this guy that lost $1 million on fantasy football? This guy on a stat correction. So on DraftKings, it came out that he was the winner and won $1 million. He took a walk with his dog. Took his dog out to walk. Came back, and they had changed a sack to a tackle for loss. It dropped him to sixth in a sixth-place tie. So instead of winning $1 million, he won $3,000. How pissed would you be right now, working today, if you're a DraftKings bet, and you thought Sunday night you'd won $1 million, and then 10 minutes later it says, nope, you get $3,000.
Try to stretch that 3,000. Listen,
He's going to stretch the
I'm just
3,000
glad-
into $1 million.
I'm just glad
That's a hell of a stretch.
I'm just glad.
That's a big stretch.
I'm just glad that what you said about him calling his family didn't end up being calling his job and quitting.
Well, right.
That could have been an awkward
Call your
conversation.
lawyer.
Look, I just won $1 million, dude.
Yeah, fuck off.
Forget y'all. I'm not coming to work tomorrow.
I can't wait for that call from Cinefani. I just won $1 million. Fuck off.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, that is awful. That's terrible. I mean, just lose on a stat correction. Not like a play. Like, it's the difference between seeing, like, say Gurley fall down at the one and fall into the end zone.
Yeah.
Something that actually happened on the field. This is from a nerd that has nothing to do with the game, cost you $1 million.
It's a stat correction. Yeah.
Did somebody get cut, Hunter?
No.
I'm not calling for violence, but I mean, I'm just saying if someone costs you $1 million, you cut somebody.
I think somebody should be fired.
I meant like with a knife.
No, I know. I know what you meant. I'm talking about, I think that stat guy should be fired, or else he's going to be.
Whoever made the final decision.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Whoever signed off on that.
If it's a DraftKings conspiracy, then he's definitely not getting fired.
I would say this. No, yeah, he's not getting fired. And if he
definitely not getting
does, he's like, whatever. I just got $100,000, or how much they bribed him not to do that.
All right, Hunter. Let's jump over to the NBA for just a few moments.
Whoa. We have to finish.
Oh yeah, we
this.
didn't finish the power poll, did we?
We jumped.
I thought
like
I
that.
did. I
No,
kind of jumped around.
You said no. Andre came up here while we were going over who's eliminated.
Sorry. Okay. 24 is Minnesota. They're hanging on like a hair on a biscuit.
They just traded away one of their players, and Daniil Hunter, who is on their defensive side of the football as well, had season-ending neck surgery. And so, essentially, to me, they're done.
Well, so they'll be done. They'll be done on our poll next week, because now Hunter, going forward, up till now it's been easy. You just get rid of one of these garbage ass teams.
Mm-hmm.
Going forward, we got some difficult decisions to make. Minnesota's gone next week. We still got 3 NFC East teams with only 2 wins, vying for the title. If any NFC East team had 5 wins right now, they would have already been kicked out. So we've got 3 NFC East teams of 2, so we're going to have to leave them in. Then you got the Patriots, Hunter, at 2-4. Cam, we talked about Monday.
Who would have ever thought at some point you would say the Patriots can't be in Super Bowl contention?
They lost. We should have, as soon as they said 8 starters were sitting out.
I said that. That's why I didn't have to make the playoffs.
They
had 8 people opt out. Dante Hightower was one of them.
I think and thought, put it this way.
I have to filibuster, I guess. Yeah, when the Patriots decided that they were going to have 8 players that are not playing this year, that was definitely a red flag for me. So I hopped off that train really, really fast. So I'm just gonna continue to go through Kevin's Super Bowl power poll. So we started at 24 with the Vikings, 23 and 22 are the Cowboys and the Washington football team. The reason why the football team is ahead of the Cowboys, well, they just beat the Cowboys this past weekend. Sitting there at 21, the New England Patriots. They got to figure out what they're doing quarterback-wise, whether it's going to be Cam going forward. But if he continues to struggle, do you just leave him in there and go for a draft pick, or do you see what you have in Stidham and continue to go for a draft pick? So the quarterback situation in New England, to me, has got the biggest question mark around it in the league. But a team that does not have any question mark around their quarterback right now is the number 20 team on this power poll. It is the Los Angeles Chargers. Justin Herbert is balling. I mean, absolutely balling out. Bye. I am bullish on Justin Herbert today. So 2-4, sitting at 20, the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, the Chargers as a whole, I'm not buying them. They're not really making much noise after this. But that quarterback going forward, that's definitely where the look is. The 3-3 Miami Dolphins are sitting at 19. Tua is taking over this week. And we'll just see how it goes. Ryan Fitzpatrick, to me, did not do anything worthy of losing his job. So we'll see how this team continues going forward without the veteran leadership of Ryan Fitzpatrick. Most teams, when they throw in a rookie, there's no guarantee that he just pops immediately. I mean, the rookie teams right now, Cincinnati just got eliminated from our list. They're 1-5-1. They got 1 win. 2-4, they got the rookie starting in Justin Herbert. Now they're starting Tua. They're 3-3 right now. We'll see how they go. At 18, 3-4, they play the Thursday night game this week. It is the Panthers. They will be playing the Falcons, who are already eliminated. But the Panthers, and I will say this about the Panthers. Obviously, we are Panthers affiliates here, KTC Broadcasting, for those of you that do not know. And Charlotte is right down the road from Cherryville. This is not a bad 3-4 football team. This is a competitive 3-4 football team. In fact, the team that's in front of them sitting at 17, the Raiders really, to me, exposed the only flaw of the Panthers' defense. That Panthers' defense cannot stop a run game to save their life. They really cannot. Last week, though, I know they played the Saints. Drew Brees is supposed to do that to everybody's defense. But what they let Alvin Kamara do on the ground, really, not to mention that, the 1-2 punch with him and Latavius Murray out of the Saints' backfield. So, to me, Panthers going forward, this is not a bad 3-4 football team. At 17, we have the Las Vegas Raiders. That's sitting at 3-3. 16, the San Francisco 49ers. And at 15, on the outside looking in, the New Orleans Saints at 4-2. Now we begin the NFL playoff teams right now. 2-4-1 at 14. Philadelphia Eagles.
How mad you going to be, Hunter, if you're the Saints or 49ers and miss the playoffs with 10 wins?
Very mad.
And the Eagles get in with 5.
Oh, very mad. Very mad.
5.
I want you to think about that, though, too. The 49ers are sitting there at 4-3, and they're last in their division, and they're having a winning record.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
They would be first in the NFC East and won't make the playoffs.
Yes, and they won't make the playoffs. At 13, the Arizona Cardinals at 4-2. I like what I'm seeing out of Arizona. Kyler Murray, he's young and he's explosive still. I like what I see out in Arizona. Kenyon Drake's going to be out for a few weeks, though. We'll see if they can fill that running back spot with Edmonds. At 12, to me, I was high on the Indianapolis Colts as the season started, but now I still think they can make the playoffs. I don't know if they'll win the division because Tennessee's an absolute unit right now. but they can make a wild card spot. The problem is they've got other AFC teams that they're going to have to try and beat out too for that wild card spot. So
but who's going to take the spot? It's either Raiders.
Yeah, to me, it's either the Raiders.
Or do you have confidence in the Dolphins, Herbert, or the Patriots?
I think it's the Raiders.
That's
Seriously. I think it is the Raiders.
I think almost everybody that's in the playoffs for the AFC is in, and then it's Colts and Raiders, unless, Hunter, a quarterback or somebody big gets hurt.
I agree.
The Browns have lost Odell Beckham. I don't think that changes. Like, if they were a 9-win team, I don't think it makes them a 4-win team. It makes them an 8-win at the worst. I don't think they don't feed him the ball and work him enough for him to be. I think everything with them, Hunter, they're the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
Is that they can't guard anybody either, but they're at least the Browns' defensive line is decent, as opposed to the D-backs can't guard anybody. But they're playing the same type. What I mean by Dallas is that they're playing the games that are 30-25 or 30-35 and hoping they win, and they have won so far.
This is why I think Las Vegas can get back on track. It's because the game they play this weekend, they play the Browns. And
easy.
And I'm not saying that this is an easy game for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm just saying Derek Carr right now is a better quarterback than Baker Mayfield is. Maybe. And I think that he will be able to exploit a worse defense in the Browns than the Raiders have. The only difference is that the whole offensive line for the Raiders, I don't even know if they're still back yet. But even with that makeshift team last week, they played Tom Brady and the Buccaneers tight, at least for the first half.
To me, so the Raiders look like basically an 8-8 team. I know they're 3-3, but just follow me here. This is who they've played.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers, Saints, Patriots, Bills, Chiefs, Bucks.
That is
unless the Patriots. The Patriots might be the worst team on that list. And you know they're prepared at least.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not they're that good, the
and
Patriots
are
at least prepared.
And they lost to the Patriots.
To them by 16 points.
And then guess what? They beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, then they lost to the Bucks.
And the Bucks are arguably a Super Bowl team.
Right.
And the same thing could be for the Chiefs. So right now, I'm sipping a little bit of Raiders Kool-Aid.
Listen who they got to play finish the season. They got the opposite of the Dolphins' schedule.
They got an
easier schedule. So just say win-loss.
Mm-hmm.
At Chargers.
Win.
Home Broncos.
Win.
Home Chiefs.
I think they lose that one.
At Falcons.
Win.
At Jets.
Win.
Home Colts. In December.
They're both domes.
They're both dome now.
They're both domes. I'm going to take that you said they're at home.
Mm-hmm.
Raiders. I'll take the Raiders at home.
Home Chargers.
Win.
Home Dolphins.
Win.
At Broncos.
I think they lose at Denver.
You got them 7 more wins. That's 10-6.
I'm telling you, I'm serious. I think
looking at that schedule, I
it's
don't
doable.
disagree.
It's doable.
Mm-hmm.
It's doable. Could they lose one of those, to one of the lesser teams that they should win? Absolutely. That would be the Raider way to do it.
So you're going Raiders or Colts unless the Browns falter.
Yes.
Is your AFC?
I think the Browns are in.
Picture.
I think the Browns are in. The question, for the Raiders to get started though on this little run that I'm saying, they would have to win this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just a winnable
Almost
game.
Not. The rest of them are sorry. They can go 9-7.
They could go 9-7 or 8-8. Either one, they could still get that spot. The problem is with me in Indianapolis. I know what their defense is. Damn, I'm not trusting Phillip Rivers. He can throw the most daggering pick at any moment.
Indy's only got 4 quote unquote easy games. I would say left.
Right. I know they have to play Tennessee. And I'll be honest, I don't know if they beat Tennessee either game. I think they might get beat both games by Tennessee, the Colts. They should sweep Houston this year. And Jacksonville's already beat them once. So Jacksonville could beat them again. You just never know. And that's just what's so crazy. And to me, I think that's the Phillip Rivers effect is, you know what Phillip Rivers can do? He can put up a lot of yards and he can throw some touchdowns, but he can also throw some untimely picks. You're in the red zone and you're just driving, and then you could absolutely just throw that. You could absolutely throw a crucial pick at the worst of times. So that's just how I look. That's just how I'm looking at the Colts right this year. They probably will lose both games. The Tennessee will sweep
That's my
the
birthday present
Texans,
today.
and then they will go 1-1 against probably the Jags.
All right, Hunter. Zach just got here. He's been messing with his card and stuff, so we'll get him turned on there.
I can hear y'all.
Yeah.
I can hear y'all good.
There you go. Can you hear you now? We hear you.
I can hear me.
I hear you. Well, welcome to the show, Zach. Better late than never. Good to see you. Hadn't seen you in a couple weeks. We are talking our power rankings now.
Yeah, that's what I was wanting to try to get back in for.
Zach, of course, is a Panthers fan. We just talked about them a minute ago.
Yeah.
They're sitting at
3 and 4.
18 in our power poll, 3 and 4. And, you know, are you? I know what you're going to say probably,
Yeah.
but Panther fans have been a little bit different coming up to this point, though. And what I mean by that is, Hunter, which one is this Tom? Is there not a Tom cam? Why is there not a Tom
I'm
cam?
not sure.
I'll click on him up there and see the Cam Newton.
Yep.
Did the Panthers make the right decision?
Absolutely.
Is basically where we're going to go with that.
You look at his stats this weekend. Y'all probably already talked about it, and he's reverting back to being horrible again. And as soon as they picked Teddy Bridgewater, I was happy. I knew the guy could throw the football, and he's showing that. Us giving up as many points as we are is not his fault. So I think we would have a better record if our defense would play a little bit better. And we've had 2 games. I mean, 2 games. We could have beat the Raiders, and we could have won last week. So very quickly we could be what would it be? 5-2.
I tell you what, Zach,
5-3.
You'll just make my job easier if you'll just sit in that chair.
Sure.
And then I won't have to move things around twice this week, and then we'll just go from there on that. He's getting back in the saddle here. Video. Yeah.
So, I'm very happy with it. I picked them to be 6-10.
I think
they're
we
ahead
had
of
them,
that curve.
I think I had them at 5, and as a group, didn't we have them at something like 6
Yeah.
or something, Zach? It was
Yeah.
somewhere around in there.
I was thinking about that the other day. They could very well be 8-8. And then nobody. I mean, the Bucks are really sitting nice, and Saints, they're just iffy right now. So if we was in NFC East, we might win the division.
Probably.
Now, Zach. We did just discuss that a second ago. How about the 49ers, Zach? What if you win 10 wins?
Who did they play us past weekend in war? Oh, it was the Cam. It was they wore them out.
What if you get 10 wins in the Garoppolo Bowl? So what if you get 10 wins in the West and come in last in your division, and the Philadelphia Eagles win the East with 6?
Yeah, I've always been a proponent of giving the division champ the seed, but that one hurts if you got 4 teams that wins at least 10 games.
It's just a random odds to end up like that. Where was you at, Hunter, in the poll? Was you?
I was getting
just
past
talking?
the Colts. I was getting ready to say the Bears. That offense looks bad. They're sitting there at 11, and now at 10 we have
That's
the
not-
Buffalo.
This is not updated. That's
No,
what I was
we
gonna
have the
ask.
Buffalo Bills at 9. The Cleveland Browns 8. The Green Bay Packers 7. The Los Angeles Rams 6. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers 5. The Baltimore Ravens. The top 4 are Kansas City and Tennessee. Seattle at number 1, sitting at undefeated still, is the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that is the KTCBroadcasting.com Super Bowl Power Poll.
So
Any of those that you look at think could move out of the top 10 this week?
So the reason I have Kansas City behind Tennessee, if you ask, Kansas City got beat by who?
The Raiders.
Tennessee got beat by who?
Pittsburgh.
So I went college football style with best loss for Hunter on
There
that
you go.
one. Seahawks I left in 2. I still got them as the 1 in the.
I have, in
the
mine,
NFC.
I have Tennessee in front of Kansas City too.
Zach, who do you think in the NFC right now is the favorite? Seattle's got a bad defense. Tampa just added Antonio Brown. Godwin's hurt. How will that go? And their defense is getting pretty good. They're number 1 in total yards. I think 6 in points. Rams in LA or
They surprised me.
Packers. So who are you leaning towards is the Super Bowl favorite in the NFC?
I'm still going to stick with Tampa because of Tom Brady.
Okay.
I'm not the biggest Aaron Rodgers fan in the world, so they did play good last year with that new coach. So I'm not a big Rams fan at all on that.
Zach,
I'm
I
gonna
would like
stay with Tampa.
Zach, I would like an apology right
Yeah.
here and now about you genuinely thinking the Buffalo Bills were going to miss the playoffs and the New England Patriots were going to make it.
Oh, I was saying the Falcons made it, and I believe the Bills were out. Did I do that?
You and me both did on that one.
Mhm.
I think
got
the
the
Bills are going to
predictions
drop. They're going to continue to drop. I still don't think Bills make it. Now,
Somebody has to make it in that division.
I was about to say.
I was thinking the Falcons was going to get back in it.
Bills are going to have
The
big
Bills,
Zach.
the Bills are in because they win that
Who else is
division.
getting in?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
They win that division.
What do you think about Fitzpatrick being benched for Tua?
What's Miami's record?
3-3, and they just benched Fitzpatrick for Tua this week.
Yeah. I hate it for Fitzpatrick, but he always knew he was a transition guy.
Right? Is it?
Um,
How fair has it been to him in his career that he's never gotten? If he was on a good roster, Zach, if you put Fitzpatrick on the Bears right now, would he have a winning record?
I would think yes.
Isn't he about? Is he in the
It's
same
surprising.
ballpark as Foles and
I think he's
Trubisky
better
and
than
those
Foles.
guys? Well,
I think he's
might
better
be.
than. I think he's better than both of them. They was talking about him and McNown the other day. McCown, sorry, and how long their careers have been to be journeymen.
Yeah.
And Fitzpatrick is not a scrub by no means. He just keeps getting on the Jets, or who else he played for? It was
He played for Buffalo
I was
for a
actually-
Tampa
stint.
last year.
Yeah. The thing
He's been
is,
on all bad teams.
Yeah.
It's been nothing but he's been on
listen,
9 teams.
He's good enough to win you some games, but
Yeah.
he's not good enough to take you all the way.
You ready for this?
And I think most that's what I heard somebody say about the reason why they made this move to Tua, because the Dolphins are still technically in a rebuild. What good is it going to do them to play one meaningless playoff game with Fitzpatrick? Or if you even do make the playoffs, that's a playoff game with Tua.
Yeah.
But even if you don't make the playoffs, you're not in a bad spot because nobody thought you were going to be there anyways.
So here's where all he's been, Hunter. St. Louis, Cincinnati, Buffalo,
I don't remember St. Louis.
Tennessee, Houston, Jets, Tampa, Miami. 9 teams. He's been on over a quarter of the league.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he's also thrown a touchdown against all 32 teams in the
Has he?
NFL. I think he has. I think he did that either this year or last year.
He's one of those guys like if he gets a hot hand, man, he can light you up for 500 yards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, that's what I mean by two is he's not good enough to take you there, but he's good enough to win you some games.
Would Fitzpatrick make the playoffs in Pittsburgh?
With the team they have right now, probably.
I was thinking even with Roethlisberger a minute ago, if they go and win the Super Bowl, that's really going to solidify his legacy even more. And I'm not a big Roethlisberger fan, but geez,
Hunter's not. I am. I just think he's good. And I think
He's a baller.
I think he's flat out good. Like yeah. If you go out on the field, I want him on the field.
Yeah, he's a baller.
Like he's big. He
ain't pretty.
Yeah,
About the
no.
way he does anything.
But by God, like he just reminds me of like you call him a baller. Like he's the guy you want like on your team, running your team. Really. Put it this way, Zach. He's had one losing season in his career. You know what his record was that year?
7-9.
7-8. He didn't even get a chance to. He could have been 500. He only played 15.
I can't say anything bad about him other than he's just not. He's not one of my favorite.
All right,
players.
couple news and notes to finish up the show. We got to talk NASCAR and NBA. I'm gonna start on NBA real quick. Not too many notes. See what you guys think about this. They're talking about a 72 game season starting December 22nd and ending before the Olympics.
Should.
Now, when they said that, for the fans, the TV, and the owners want that. The players are mad.
They get 10 less games of game checks. Is that why?
Nope.
They're wanting to start a season next September.
No.
No, this December.
They're gonna start
December. I thought you said September. I'm sorry.
This December. The players are mad, Hunter, because they got to come back and play.
Now, what are they
They
going to do about a
want
bubble?
time off.
They want more time off. After taking 4 months off this year, 8 of the 22 teams took even 8 months off.
Mm-hmm.
Danny Green was on TV yesterday and said LeBron and the veterans won't be there the first month. They just won't even come. He said they'll come practice. They will not play a game.
Well, don't let him play. I don't give a damn.
Think about, is there any other league?
Like, just go with it.
Is there any other league
that just panders to their players so much?
that the players don't care actually about the American fan base / we only care about? Think about it. It's not a five day a week job. The most they ever do is 3 games in a week, and so now if you play 3 games in a week,
those guys must have forgotten growing up and playing 3 games in a day AAU.
Like, think about it. You grew up your whole life to want to be paid to play basketball.
Paid well.
And paid millions.
Uberly well.
And then they say, well, will you show up to work? And then you say, no, I've worked too hard. There's 4 months off or too much. They've got 6 weeks between now and when it's supposed to start, they said. So, and they're not happy about it. They want to take vacations. They want to see their families. And to me, as a fan, you're just like, guys, it's 60. What are you talking about? It's 10. You're getting 10 less games already. So they're starting at 72.
I was say, first of all, you're only working.
And then they're going to sit out another 10 to 15. So LeBron James is only going to play.
Like, you go to practice.
You
go to practice. How difficult is NBA practice?
How difficult is an NBA game?
Well, they don't play no defense hardly.
Think about the guys that don't play. Is practice harder or going to the games more harder?
Practice
right?
is probably harder.
Than
yeah,
the guys that get 5 minutes. So anyway, that's kind of. I just want to see what y'all thought about.
Did
Zach,
you see
we of course we grew up in the era of everybody just playing if you're healthy.
Did you also see the other NBA news?
Which one?
The 76ers. The 76ers are. I just read that they are in advanced talks to hire him.
Okay.
Former general manager of the Rockets, Daryl Morey, to oversee the franchise's basketball operation. For those of you that don't know as well, 76ers just hired Doc Rivers a few weeks ago as well to be their head coach.
That's going to be really good for them for Doc to be there.
I think the 76ers have the talent there. The problem has been, can they get to that next step? We'll just see what they do if they keep Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid together.
Well, Hunter, we've done power rankings all day today. We did the real ones. We did
the baseball ones.
This is now a way too early basketball one.
Oh,
who do y'all guess is the one?
It should be the Lakers because they're the reigning champions.
Who is
Golden State?
Who is 2?
It's the Clippers.
Zach? Who thinks 2?
I'm going to say Golden State 1, Clippers. Lakers 2.
Lakers are 1. Clippers 2.
Figured.
So Hunter has nailed that one.
I'm looking at it. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
no, I'm not.
3
I'm not. But this
is the Milwaukee Bucks.
Okay. I like that 4th pick.
4 is the Denver Nuggets.
I like that one.
They should be
They're
1 if
the
Bol
very
Bol
good
plays.
team, but not a really star-studded, not a superstar on their team.
Right,
I can say that.
right.
They're the star-stud. They're the Detroit Pistons of 03, I think it was.
He's on the bench is where the superstar is.
Oh, my God.
Terrible coaching.
No, that's not.
Terrible coaching, Hunter. I thought I was proved right. They
I'm
won't
surprised
win.
they got mad.
So
at
they
5.
will not win without him playing significant minutes.
And
They will trade him within a year and a half.
I hope to Charlotte, baby. I might buy season tickets for that.
Oh, my God.
I might. Dallas 5, Golden State 6. The thing about Golden State, we don't know who's going to be on their team right now. They've got the rights to the number 2 pick.
Mm-hmm.
And Hunter,
Wiggins.
do y'all remember we talked earlier about the kid from Israel?
Yes.
All the smoke coming out of Golden State right now is that they love the kid from Israel, Dino Avdija, if I got that right. So he's basically another a 6'9" Klay Thompson. Is kind of what you're looking at. What they're thinking is a shooter, can play a little bit of defense and everything. Their options are someone like him,
Mm-hmm.
a center like Wiseman if he's there, or trading for a big man or a backup guard, which would be the same thing as drafting Advisia. So do you want to draft a backup basically to your 4 starters,
Yeah.
or do you want to sign backups to your 4 starters and then trade for a big man? Like who could you get for that 2 pick that could play center?
They talked about packaging Wiggins and the number 2 pick to go to Sixers for Embiid.
I don't like that
the rumor.
because think about that. How many points a game does Wiggins get?
Probably 16.
They 23.
Is it that much for
Yes.
them?
Mm-hmm.
Would
How
it be
many-
that much
How many's Embiid get?
with
About,
both of them?
about 22, 23, no, isn't it? It's about the same thing. So to me, if you trade them for each other, you're getting the same amount of points. So for Golden State, yeah, but they don't even run their offense through the center at all.
No. You
So
just have
is
to-
that a good for them type trade as opposed to, would you rather have someone like Hassan Whitesides at center? And remember, last year, the year before, I said, if Golden State can get Dwight Howard, they'll win it.
Yeah.
LA got him. Now the rumors are that Golden State's actually trying to maybe get Dwight
Well, that's
Howard.
what I was-
So if they got a Whiteside or a Howard that could just play defense and rebound, which is all they need,
That's why.
because the other three guys are going to score. If you could how think about it. Guarding Steph's hard to do.
Yeah.
Right. You almost have to design a defense almost stop Clay catching and shooting.
Right.
Then Wiggins is one of the best one-on-one players there is. So you've got those three guys on the wing, and then you got Draymond dicking around doing whatever he does,
Kicking people in the nuts.
kicking people.
There you go.
So if you get an enforcer in the middle, which they haven't had, or somebody that's just feasible in the middle, I think that makes them
That's why
very difficult.
think they're pushing for that center because you got the Lakers with the center.
Yep.
Then you got Denver. Help me out with their centers now.
Jokic.
Yes,
Jokic.
Jokic. I mean, you got to have somebody that can slow some of these people down.
The center will come back eventually.
Celtics-
That's what I'm holding on for that.
Celtics 7,
will.
Sixers 8, Heat 9, Brooklyn Nets. At
I had
10.
them at
Is this
6
too
or
high,
7 in
too
my
low?
mind.
I think it's.
They're-
You know what? I think it's fine right where it's at. I know you're
Yeah.
gonna say it could be too low. Some people could say too high. Problem is, I haven't seen him play.
I ain't seen them play.
I
and-
haven't seen him play with. I saw what they had without Kevin and Kyrie, and it was good enough to make the playoffs, but not do anything.
You know, or
And
either
I
one-
haven't seen. And Kyrie bailed on them so fast last year that I don't know how he's going to do next year, even with Kevin back. So you know what? Fine, leave him at 10.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I don't know any more about him than I should.
and he's injury prone.
Yeah,
Kyrie's injury
Kyrie
prone,
is injury prone.
and we don't know what Durant's going to be.
All right, so I've got it looks like, let's see. I'm doing all kinds of stuff there. Let's get back into this. Toronto at 11. Did you see the new? I tagged Hunter in a tweet. Zach, Toronto, because you can't travel to Canada right now, is thinking about having their season in Louisville, Kentucky.
So they're going to play in Buffalo too. Was that where the?
They're not going to be, but they're going to be in Louisville maybe. So you could have Louisville, Kentucky with a basketball team,
The Louisville Raptors.
and then Louisville and Memphis could
And
play.
guess what? I bet you they let people in those games in Louisville, Kentucky.
Mhm. Yeah, well, probably.
Mhm.
One of the St. Louis is one of the towns that may be trying to get Toronto to come, and then there was some other. It seemed like there was 3 cities, and I'm trying to think who the third one was. Hell, it might be Vegas. wouldn't you if you was them to be like, hey, come on, Toronto,
Yeah, why not? You know,
to Vegas?
listen,
How far down, Hunter, do I got to go before I get to the Hornets?
20.
you probably have to go last.
I'm
gonna say last or one from last.
Who
Who can we make a case to be worse than us?
Pelicans are at 17.
They got rid of Alvin Gentry, hired Stan Van Gundy.
I like Alvin Gentry.
I know.
He's Fitzpatrick of the NBA.
Hunter-
People just bail on him.
There's
He
your
coached
Wizards.
everywhere in this,
Speaking of them, we'll get to talk to it later, but I don't know what your team's going to be like this year. Are y'all going to trade Wall or Beal?
I don't know. Bradley
It could be
Beal.
either
If
one of
I'm not
them.
mistaken, Bradley Beal's contract is up.
They said they're trying to get Beal to Golden State. That's the Wiggins trade. that
Well,
they're
I
talking.
know that
It's
a lot
Beal
of-
for Wiggins.
I don't want to lose Bradley Beal. I really don't. I love John Wall, though. I just hope that when he comes back, if we could keep both of them, great. Oh, we have 27.
27, Zachary.
I thought I was going to say one from the end. Am I right?
The odds to win the championship, Hunter. Make your bets now.
Man,
Plus.
40,000.
Yeah. Yeah, it's plus 40,000.
Bet 100. Now times that by 40,000. Come on, Hornets. You can do it.
Why not? Like, why would you?
ain't
Why?
no chance.
Like, why would you not at least just put like $1 down?
How bad
Yeah.
are the Pistons? They got rated worse than us.
There's 2 more teams. The Cavs and the Knicks.
God, the
Oh,
Knicks
Think
are
about
bad.
that.
Wow.
And all of them are in the East.
Wow.
There's 3 teams worse than us in the East. So after losing Kemba Walker, the Hornets managed to hang around the fringes of the Eastern playoff ranks thanks to second-year point guard Devontae Graham. The NBA's fourth worst point differential, though, is minus 6.8 per game. Shows there's room for improvement. They landed the 3 pick. They'll need some more development from Miles Bridges and Malik Monk to make an effective use of a projected $19 million in cap space, maybe to upgrade at center. That's what I say.
19 million.
Upgrade it.
We'll just give it
center.
to Biombo and blow that
Like-
19 million out of the water.
That's what I said. Who makes that decision? Like, give that 19 to someone who could score.
I was gonna say, why would you? I was gonna say, center.
Zach,
You
I
could
wa-
upgrade anywhere else, but you
Right.
chose center.
I watched. I told Hunter. I watched.
Cody
a-
Zeller does fine with what he does.
Watched the doc. He's a service for today's league. He's a very serviceable center. Watched a Jordan interview last night, Zach, and it was fairly interesting. It was a cigar aficionado interview. I can't even tell the name of the guy who interviewed him, and he asked, telling Hunter, he had a bunch of questions that Jordan actually talked about the Hornets and how to develop a team and what to do. I think you'd find that interesting if you go on YouTube and search that. And he was talking about Hunter. I thought it was funny, interesting. The guy asked him if he would ever be a coach, and he said no. He said, "My patience is way too
Thin,
so-
probably.
He says because I would yell at everybody. He says because he said without throwing the players under the bus. This is what he said.
Basically,
He's-
that they're soft.
He said today's players don't care about the same things that we did. He said so, as an owner, I tell the GM and tell the coach, and then they tell the players what to do. And I can't. Because he was talking about playing with the Wizards. He's like, I thought I could still affect the games by going out there and playing with the Wizards and teaching those guys. And maybe that led to a Rip Hamilton championship in Detroit. Like, who thought Rip was tough or strong? Like, nobody really did.
Right.
He breaks his nose, plays with Jordan, and well, now he's out here. But he's just talking about a lot of that and how to get the Hornets and going and stuff. I think you guys would find that very interesting. And him talking about the players today, he's just like, I couldn't coach because my patience. If I asked them to do something and they didn't want to, I couldn't take it. And so that was his.
Yeah.
He didn't want nothing to do with coaching those guys like that. I thought that was funny. All right, NASCAR, Hunter. It's been rained out again. It's been pushed back to 5 o'clock today.
Nah.
We've been raining for 3 days in Texas.
And we're just chilling.
They're supposed to have a race this weekend in Martinsville,
Ah,
and
we're
then the
running out of
championship is
time.
next week. So in the next 4 days, they may be having 2 races. They can't run the rain tires on the ovals because they're too fast and won't stick. So they're just waiting on that. Clint Boyer's been in the lead for 3 days now. He tweeted yesterday that's the longest lead he's ever had.
Well, keep running.
I don't know if you saw Twitter today. Did y'all see the announcement?
Yes, Kyle Larson to the 5.
Kyle Larson to the 5.
At
Who's going to the
Hendrick.
88?
I don't know.
Or are they taking it out? Because if he's going to the 5,
Mm-hmm.
there wasn't a 5 running.
No, I think they said
that
they're
was Kyle Busch's last
no,
number.
they're bringing back the 5.
And they're going to get rid of the 88.
I don't. I
Or
guess
they're
they'll
gonna do
get
5 cars.
I don't
I'll have
listen.
to research it.
Listen, I don't know. The only thing I saw headline wise was Kyle Larson returns to Hendrick Motorsports to drive the 5 car.
I didn't see the 5 car. I just saw the Hendrick stuff. I just assumed it was 88. Well, we'll get into that. So here's your driver movement for next season. So Larson to the 5 at Hendricks. Chase Briscoe to the 14. Christopher Bell moving from 95 to 20. DiBenedetto stays. Ross Chastain will be in the 42. Eric Jones is moving from 20 to 43. Alex Bowman is moving out of the 88 to the 48. You'd think if they was going to retire a number, Hunter, it wouldn't be the 88, it'd be the 48.
48. Yeah.
Like, I don't get it. Like, well, so maybe somebody smarter than me that knows more about it can explain that to me why. But you would think they would get the 48 out of there, like they did the 3 car for some time, if they have the ability to.
Right.
Bubba Wallace to the 43 and Daniel Suarez to the 99. Like I said, this weekend, it's rained all week, so we haven't had a race. We'll have Martinsville on Saturday, this Sunday.
Yep. Sure enough,
We've got Texas today.
Hendrick Motorsports to reintroduce the number 5 team with Kyle Larson
Did
in
it say anything about the
2021. I didn't see anything about the 88.
Okay, I'll get all that by Saturday. It should be. God, that's interesting. It's really interesting. Why? I really almost at this point, if they're going to do, if I knew they would bring the 5 back, I would have said weeks ago, take the 48 off the track. Like, I don't. It's just a number sticker,
Right.
right? So why don't they
Kind of the same
put something
thing
different.
when Earnhardt,
Right.
left out, and then
So
I've had a brain lapse. Can't think of the man's name that took his place.
Kevin Harvick.
Yeah,
took his
Kevin
spot.
Harvick. That's what I could see his
And
face.
they changed
Couldn't
it to
think of his name.
29. He went to the
Right,
29
he
car.
didn't race the 3. Is what I was saying, and
Hunter, this lady laughed at something we were doing.
Probably when
And
you were playing that dang Appalachian State song.
You think that was the one?
Absolutely.
You don't think it was the backwards legs that we were fooled
No,
on?
it had to have been. I looked at what time that was, and that was around the time you were playing the dang Appalachian State's Hot, Hot, Hot song.
Zach had never seen it.
And we're not doing it right now.
No, it is a corny song from school.
He can listen to it when the show is over.
Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. Dun, dun,
Only
dun,
other news and
dun,
note
dun,
I have,
dun,
though,
dun. We'll play it
that
in the
I
show.
saw, only news and note that I saw that was worth mentioning was from Adam Schefter.
yeah,
Adam Schefter had tweeted this an hour ago. Developing news is that the NFL currently is planning for 20% seating capacity at the Super Bowl in Tampa. Fans will be in pods 6 feet apart, and masks will be required.
Who cares? Honestly, for the Super Bowl, isn't 99.9% of the audience on TV anyway?
Yeah. Because
Regular people don't go to the Super Bowl.
Because think about it.
Who's getting those tickets now?
The only one that was
Family members is
the only
it.
one that was like regionally biased or like regionally comparable for both teams' fan bases was the year that it was Atlanta and New England because they were both on the East Coast. The one that was the worst was the one in Atlanta itself because it was New England from up north and the dang Rams who were in California. Neither one of those fan bases wanted to show up to that game. That's why they had such a big deal about, oh God, what was it? I think it was a national championship or something, college football. Both teams were from the South, but they were playing the national championship game in like Phoenix.
Yeah. And everybody had to
And
travel out that way.
so you're right that in the fact that the only team that would really just benefit by that is if Tampa Bay makes it. Their home fans just come.
It's never
20% of
happened
their home
before.
fans. What a team hosting the Super Bowl make the Super Bowl? I'm not sure.
No, I know. It's never happened before.
the Saints were close a couple years ago and they didn't make
A
it.
couple of teams have been close.
I think that was when they had the bad call on the pass interference, was it not?
It was probably.
Oh God.
Oh,
Also,
Zach, you ain't been here in about 2 weeks.
it's been Last week I had
Any
to work.
news and notes or comments, things you missed? Or
I
anything you
missed
wanted
the
Here-
whole Braves blowing it completely away.
yeah,
Just made me sick.
I did the tomahawk chop for Hunter, but
so
I did the
mad.
Seminole chop, not the Braves chop.
I was just disappointed. I did like. I'm not a big Dodgers fan at all, but I like small ball, so I like the. Of all the things that got us knocked out, it was the base running that got us knocked out. You remember in the
yeah.
that was the
dumb
sixth
play.
inning where
Yeah.
you get a triple play basically on
Yeah, it
us,
was
and
a
that
dumb
lost
play.
us the
That was a-
series.
that was a-
That lost us the series. So-
Dumb play.
And I'm a small ball guy, so they really blew that one out of the water.
Goodness.
Other than that, I've enjoyed watching the Panthers this year. I like to see us throw the ball, and I'm really enjoying Cam sucking. And what you think how long you think before he gets yanked? One more week?
I think it happens
he
this
was
weekend,
yanked
maybe.
this week.
They're going to start him this week. And
Yeah.
I think he's done.
Well, it
after this
depends. I
week.
don't know who the Patriots play this weekend.
Good question.
They've played 6 games. He has 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Again, if this was any other quarterback, would we be even having this conversation?
No.
Would we be even saying he gets another chance? Would like
He had
what-
97
what-
yards passing
Yeah.
last week.
What quarterback in the
3
league
picks.
has 2 touchdowns, 7 picks? I mean, Fitzmagic went 3-3, got benched. We were talking earlier how they're talking about rebenching Foles again because he lost a game. I'm like, he can't go undefeated. I mean, who are you going to put in? You going back to Trubisky?
You know,
Sam Howell's next for the Bears.
and it makes me smile with all the people that was so butthurt because Cam got gone, and I'm like, and I'm a Panthers fan, so that's what we had, guys. That's why nobody traded for him.
Exactly. The only other news and note that I had was Wisconsin shutting down their football facility right now.
I saw that.
They've
They
got
already
a
are
little
poll.
outbreak.
I missed that.
They're number 8 in our poll. They won't be next week.
No, yeah, they won't. They and the game against Nebraska has been not only canceled, it is not being rescheduled. So Wisconsin will only be playing 7 games out of the 8 games that the Big Ten was going to play.
So Zach, have we missed anything? I know you hadn't been here in 2 weeks. Is there anything specific? You know, you missed the Braves.
Yeah, the Braves are
Tar
big
Heels
for
got
me.
up to 5 and then got beat. Cowboys looking great out there, ain't they? We earlier today, I'll tell you the things we talked about. We talked about King Griffey Jr., how I said, to me, in our generation, like, he was the best player almost ever for all of us, all because he can play defense as well. He does hit home runs. But then, like, to me, he was almost our LeBron. He wasn't winning, but still, he was the icon of, like, Jordan was unattainable for anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but people thought, there's a possibility I could play center field or I can die for a fly ball or work on my swing and hit a home run.
I say the only one that was close on that was Bo at his pinnacle. You remember?
Right.
You know,
Now, and I was trying to tell Hunter, do you remember anybody thinking Bonds was better than Griffey until he hit 73?
No.
I don't think anybody did.
No.
So we talked about that. We talked about some starting lineups thing. We wasted 10 minutes on starting lineups, and it ended up being Milton told us the legs were on backwards. So we had an investigation, and we figured out that they're not. They're turned different. And so, but it's an optical illusion of whether my Olympian starting lineups legs were on backwards. And then what else we go over, Hunter? We had power rankings day. We had all sports power rankings.
Mm-hmm.
We talked NASCAR, and Hunter, hit the simple phone so you guys can hear this for the end of the show. I want you. There you go. So Zach, this is the best song ever. This is from a Appalachian State. This is Appalachian State video from college.
Was that from the 80s?
This was from 98, 99 era. This is right before I got to school. And they showed this to us in school because we had to do something like that. We had to make videos.
That's horrible. Horrible.
I told Hunter it's the cheesiest thing.
It reminds
I
me
watched
of
the whole thing.
In the history of the
commercial
world.
back in the 80s for a grocery store or something.
Yeah. Zach, look how many views this got. Can you see? 1.9 million views. Do you know what Andre said? He said, "Is this the show that come on before the Golden Girls?" Listen to
That's
that
horrible.
music. Is that not that type of music? Zach, Appalachian is hot, hot, hot. People watch the video coming here.
Horrible.
Hot, hot, hot.
Ain't nothing hot about Appalachian.
Read those words, son. You can do it. You can
No.
no.
This is not sing along.
All right, guys. Final thought.
Have a happy Wednesday.
Zach, can you talk?
Nope, I'm good.
I can't hear you talking over here, Hunter, because you knocked the cue off. All right, guys.
The people
well,
can.
Saturday morning, 8 o'clock. Mondays and Wednesdays live at 2 o'clock. Tune in with Shock Jocks. And we'll thank all of our listeners and viewers on ktcbroadcasting.com. Thanks for listening. And always remember, Appalachia is hot, hot, hot.